Good afternoon, United staff and faculty. It's a pleasure to be here with you. We're continuing our series of best practices, and we'd like to show you some of our teachers that we have today that have volunteered their time to set up some videos so you could take a look at some of their best practices. Again, so we can increase our capacity as a campus and continue to lead the way as the best virtual staff in UISD. Thank you.
My name is Christina Carvalho, and I am teaching chemistry at United High School. I was asked to share best practice that has been working for me in the virtual setting. Personally, the traditional note-taking in a physical journal has been proven to be successful for me. I write every single lecture that I do. I write notes with my students every block, so I have 4 of them. And I think it's important that they write notes because with chemistry, concepts build and build and build. So whenever they're not really remembering something, they can go back to their journal since it's all in one spot, and they can review a lot of the things that we have done in the prior weeks. Now, with all of my slideshows, everything is posted online. I don't expect them to print out all of the slideshow because one, some people don't have printers, some students don't have ink. So keeping all of the notes in our journal and the most important parts of all of our lectures in here has helped them become successful in their quizzes and in their tests, especially if they are interested in taking AP Chemistry with Ms. Morales and college chemistry. When they go to college, they are expected to already know a lot of the concepts that we teach. So if they don't remember something, they can go back to this physical journal in, say, a year from now and 3 years from now, and they can look at their notes. For example, when we teach how to write and name ionic compounds, there's just so many rules, as you all can see here, that it's hard to remember. If we don't practice something or if we don't review something for a few weeks, we tend to forget it. So personally, writing all of the notes in a physical journal will help them not only now, but in the future. I also have them practice all of the assignments, the digital assignments that we do. They can go to the back of their journal, and I encourage them to work out all of their problems. So everything we do in this class, aside from the digital submission, is in the physical notebook. The way that I keep them motivated to submit their assignments is I have a test class, so everything that I'm going to do the next day, I will post the day before. So example, I already have everything in this fake class already ready to go. So when I am going to open up the material for that specific block, I already just go to reuse post and I already have everything. So specifically with the journal notes, tomorrow I'm going to give them an opportunity to submit journal notes 2.20, which we did on Monday, or 2.21 for an assignment grade. So they have a choice of either or. They have 5 minutes. I will post this for 5 minutes on their classroom, and they have 5 minutes to submit. After the 5 minutes, I will delete the submission. I can still see everything. I check to see if they have a completed journal note, and then I give them either assignment grade. This one is an assignment grade. I give them extra points or bonus points. So this is actually very helpful for those of us that struggle with students, maybe not doing or being as motivated at the end. We can look at these journal notes, and it's easier for them to follow along. We can pick up grades from this. So for me, this has been very successful, and I try to come up with ways for students to grasp the information, and so they can be successful in AP Chemistry or in college. I wish you all a fantastic second 9 weeks, and if you all have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. This is Ms. Vaz from the English department. I wanted to share some of the best practices that have been useful for my classroom. I teach English, so English tends to be one of the topics or courses that tends to be difficult for some students just because of the content and the rigor in it. So it is a lot of material that we do get to cover. But in order to make English more fun, there's a lot of stuff that we can incorporate. Some of the things that I do use in class are quizzes. Quizzes are quick assessments that you can give your students to check for their understanding. You can make them 5 questions, you can make them 10 questions, you can make it as long as you want. I'd like to use these a lot also as extra credit, and I do use these a lot during tutorials. The students tend to love these a lot just because it's something that they can do on their own time, or you can set it as a live game and it actually times them so they can actually complete the test when you would want them to. Okay, and again, this is also a good one to use if you want to give a quick assessment as well and take it as a grade. Another one that was actually just introduced to me by another colleague, Mrs. Hall. This is flippity.net. This is a portion, I believe, from Google that you can create an account with that's free. And you can create a lot of different activities like bingos, you can create crossword puzzles, and so much more. I'm still learning to use that one, so I provided the web page there in case you guys want to jot it down. Engagement is a big one too. So whenever I do Google Slides, I like to incorporate the Pear Deck, just because with each slide you are able to incorporate an opportunity for students to answer a multiple choice question. You can have them type, you can have them draw, you can have them drag and drop. It just depends what it is you're teaching for the day. And Pear Deck is such a good tool for Google Slides. The other one that we do use a lot for English is the LMS site, where you can create games within your lesson as well. So you can check for their understanding, be it literary terms, being math terms, anything that you're teaching, that one is really good. And as always, guys, for communication, Remind is such a great tool to use. And it's super easy. If I see that a student isn't responding in class or via the chat, I send them a remind because I know that most of the time they will have their phones on them. And lastly, just as a best practice for everybody, engage in self-care, guys, and make time for yourself. Set boundaries, as it was mentioned before, and take care of yourselves, guys. It's this situation we're in is a learning experience for everybody, and we just got to make the best out of it. And that's it from me. Thanks, Longhorns.
Hello and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anais Muniz, and I am part of the ELA department here at United High School. And I was asked to talk about some of the best practices that I do and that I use in my classroom. One of the best practices that I make sure I establish and promote in my class is telling my students before every discussion and even before every class starts that this is a judgment-free zone. I want my students to know that what is discussed in here, that we are all understanding of one another, and that we all need to practice more empathy towards one another, because at the end of the day, we are all striving and we are all trying to be happy and successful in our own lives. Another best practice that I use is from a book called Teach Like a Pirate. You can find it on Amazon Prime specifically. And it's just using different techniques and techniques that we actually use as a department, such as a hook. And it's to grab your kids' attention, your students' attention, and how to keep them engaged and motivated throughout the lesson so that they want to learn and they're wanting to know more about the lesson or the subject or whatever it is that you're going over. My last tidbit of advice is to have boundaries as an educator. Make it a point to end your days at 4:30 or at 5 o'clock and spend time with your loved ones. Take care of yourself. Take care of your own mental health. Do the hobbies that you love to do. And just try and keep the positive as much as you can. I know these are trying times and these are challenging times, but we ourselves need to give ourselves that boundary, especially when your dining room becomes your classroom. So just make sure that you take care of you, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. And I hope to see everyone sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Well, there you go, Longhorns. We hope you've enjoyed these best practices that the teachers shared with you today. If you'd like to be one of the teachers for our next edition of the virtual teaching here at United High School, please contact myself, Mr. Lopez, or Mr. David Guzman at the 9th grade campus, and we'll be glad to show your practices at the next time that we have a faculty meeting. Thank you so much, Longhorns. Stay strong.